Let me take you deep into the heart of Mahabharata, a world not just of mighty heroes and cosmic destinies, but of ordinary souls wrestling with extraordinary choices. In the legendary halls of Hastinapura, the city at the epicenter of the epic, power shifts and destinies collide. But not all stories are about grand battles or divine interventions. Some stories live in the quiet turns of conscience and the brave decisions of those who risk everything, not for glory, but for truth. This is the story of Vikarna and Ieyasu, two names you seldom hear, yet whose stand for justice and righteousness shines brighter than many celebrated victories. The court of Hastinapura buzzed with anticipation. The grand game of dice, a play of fate and folly, had left the five great Pandavas at the mercy of their cousins, the Kauravas. On the marble floor, Draupadi, wife to the Pandavas, was thrust into the limelight, an unwilling victim in this cruel spectacle. All around her, powerful men, generals, kings, saints, remained silent. The echoes of humiliation filled the hall, drowning out the softer rhythm of conscience. In this moment, the true test was not of strength, but of values. Vikarna's awakening. Among the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra, Vikarna was just another name in a sea of brothers. Yet, unlike others, he saw not just the game, but its cruelty. The dice may have determined fate, but Vikarna knew that dharma, righteous action, lay beyond the grip of mere rules. Draupadi's plea reverberated. "Am I no more than property? Is my dignity a pawn for your amusement?" For a moment longer, the silence endured. But then, Vikarna stepped forward. His voice, though shaking, carried the weight of truth. "What is dharma if not protecting the innocent? Are we to stand by as our own kin are wronged in this house of justice?" Elders frowned, courtiers shifted uncomfortably. Duryodhana, his brother and leader, glared. His pride stung. Vikarna looked at Draupadi, not as a queen, but as a human in pain. He challenged the legality of her gambling away. No one can stake another's dignity, not even kings, in their own court. But the law of power held strong, drowning Vikarna's reasoned appeal. Yet his words lingered, planting seeds in the hearts of those present. They struggled with the dilemma he voiced, even as the spectacle continued. Vikarna was rebuffed and ridiculed. The price of speaking against the majority was isolation. Yet, he did not retreat. That night, as the palace feasted on their victory, Vikarna sat alone, torn between family loyalty and the call of conscience. In all of us lives a Vikarna, a voice that knows when something is wrong but trembles before the crowd. The motivation, then, lies in choosing, even if that choice means standing alone. He sought counsel from Vidura, the wise advisor, who always said, "Truth is its own reward." Vikarna realized that even if the world ignores you, your own soul remembers whether you were true. As the war drums beat louder and division deepened, another Kaurava felt the sting of conscience. Ieyasu, born to Dhritarashtra and a maid, was not first in line for power. But his heart was clear and his sense of right undimmed. On the eve of battle, with families split and brothers set against brother, Ieyasu made an unimaginable choice. He would join the Pandavas, the side of dharma, even if it meant turning his back on kin. He approached his brothers, his words heavy with emotion. "Blood may bind us, but truth must guide us. I will not raise my sword against justice." His declaration sent shockwaves. To some, he was a traitor. To others, a torchbearer of conviction. Ieyasu's story is a reminder. Destiny offers moments to choose between comfort and courage. He chose the latter, knowing he might never be accepted by either side, yet content to know he was true to himself. In the great Kurukshetra war, Vikarna fought with the Kauravas, but his heart never lost sight of compassion. On the battlefield, he faced the Pandavas, not as enemies, but as men torn by fate. Accounts mention his reluctance to kill and his sorrow over the bloodbath. Ieyasu, meanwhile, fought bravely for the Pandavas. He was among the few survivors after the war. his integrity earning respect from all. In the years that followed, he carried the message of unbiased truth, teaching children, sharing tales, and urging rulers to heed the voice of conscience. Their actions became stories, whispered from village to village, reminding all that loyalty is not blind obedience, and courage is not mere aggression. Long after the war, elders told the story of Vikarna and Ieyasu to generations. They said, "Courage is not the roar of a crowd, but the lone cry of a heart unwilling to abandon what is right." Draupadi herself, in later years, thanked Vikarna in her prayers. The Pandavas honored Ieyasu, not because he helped them win, but because he taught the world the value of standing on principle. Vidura, Everwise, concluded, "In the end, it is not riches or victories that history truly remembers. It is the moment when one person dares to speak up, to step over the line that divides comfort from conviction. Be like Vikarna in voice, and like Ieyasu in action. Be the change when the world stands still." So, what does this story mean for us today? Living in a world where silence often sides with injustice, and where family, friends, or colleagues may sometimes ask us to set our values aside. Remember, real greatness is not in agreeing with the majority, but in having the courage to stand for what is true. Loyalty to family must never outweigh loyalty to conscience. When right and wrong collide, your choice defines who you truly are. Not your background, not your education, not your tribe. Even if no one notices your stand, the world quietly changes because of it. Every voice matters. When you feel alone, like Vikarna, speaking in the grand hall, or forced to choose, like Ieyasu in the battlefield, ask yourself, am I a spectator, or will I answer the call of conscience? Am I willing to risk comfort for character? Next time you encounter injustice, in your neighborhood, your workplace, your circle, remember Vikarna and Ieyasu. Let your words be like sparks in the dark, showing others what courage looks like. And if you must choose sides, let principle be your compass. Even if you feel alone, know this: the world is hungry not just for heroes, but for those who plant the seeds of truth, even in barren soil. You have the power to be that change. Fade into a candle in a dark hall, its flame growing brighter as others are lit from it. Soft music plays, a blend of courage and hope. Images of lone figures in crowds, voices breaking silence. The message flashes: one voice, one action, 1,000 hearts inspired. Be the Vikarna. Be the Ieyasu. Share your own story of courage in the comments below, or simply promise yourself, next time life tests your values, you'll risk everything, all for the truth. Because, as the Mahabharata teaches, it's these small choices that shape the fate of nations and the futures of all. Thank you for listening. May your life echo with the courage of those who chose right over easy, truth over comfort, and compassion over conformity.